Hi students. Today I am going to discuss about the history of computer. Before going to the history of computer, let me define what is a computer. So if you see here, computer is nothing but it is an electronic machine which collects information and also store the information, and thereby it processes whatever the information it is stored according to the user instructions, and thereby it returns the result. We can also define the computer as a programmable electronic device that performs arithmetic and logical operations automatically using a set of instructions which are provided by the user. This is called the definition of a computer. Next, we will move on to the history of computer. The first counting device was used by the primitive people. As we all know, they are using sticks and stones, and sometimes they are using bones also as a counting tools. Human mind and technology improved with time. More computing devices were developed. So some of the popular computing devices, starting from the first to the recent one, we will discuss in the next coming slides. The first one is abacus. The history of computer begins with the birth of abacus, which is developed to be the first computer. It is said that Chinese invented abacus around 4000 years ago. If you see the image of the abacus here, actually it is having a wooden rack. This is a wooden rack having a metal rods, like this, with the beads mounted on them. These are all the beads which are mounted on the metal rod. So the beads moved by the abacus operator according to some rules to perform arithmetic calculations. Still, this abacus is used in some countries like China, Russia, and Japan. The next is Napier's bone. It was a manually operated calculating device. This was invented by John Napier in between 1550 to 1617 of Manchester. In this calculating tool, he used 9 different ivory stripes. This can also be called as bones, marked with the number of multiply and divide. So the tool becomes known as Napier's bones. It was also the first machine to use the decimal point. Next is Pascal. This also known as arithmetic machine or adding machine. It was invented between 1642 and 1644 by French mathematician and also his philosopher Blaise Pascal. This was the first mechanical and automatic calculator. This Pascal invented this machine to help his father, who is a tax accountant. It could only perform additions and subtractions. And if you see this picture, you can understand it was a wooden box with a series of gears like this, and also a series of gears here and wheels like this. When a wheel is rotating, this wheel is rotated in one revolution. It rotates automatically the neighboring wheel. So a series of windows is given on the top of the wheel to read the totals. So this is a picture you can understand what is meant by Pascal machine. The next is step reckoner or Leibniz wheel. It was developed by German mathematician philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz in the year 1673. He improved Pascal invention to develop this machine. It was a digital mechanical calculator which was called the step reckoner, as instead of gears it was made fluted drums. In the previous case, the previous machine, we have seen gears. Now he replaced the gears with the fluted drums. So if you observe this figure, these are all the fluted drums. These are all the fluted drums, which has an enhancement that we have seen from the previous machine. The next machine is nothing but it's a difference engine. If you see in early 1820s, it was designed by Charles Babbage. Designed by Charles Babbage, who is also known as the father of the modern computer. It was a mechanical computer which could perform simple calculations, and it was a steam-driven calculating machine designed to solve tables of numbers like arithmetic tables. Next, if you see analytical engine. This calculating machine was also developed by Charles Babbage in the year 1830. It was a mechanical computer that used punch cards as an input. It was capable of solving any mathematical problems and storing information as a permanent memory. And next is tabulating machine. If you observe this picture, this was invented in the year 1819 by Hermann Goliath. He is an American statistician. It was a mechanical tabulator based on punch cards, and it could tabulate statistics and records or sort data or any information. This machine was used in 1890 US Census. Goliath also started the Goliath Tabulating Machine Company, which later becomes the International Business Machine, that is called IBM, in the year 1924. The next machine is differential analyzer. If you go through this picture, you can understand it was the first electronic computer introduced in the United States in the year 1930, and it was an analog device invented by Vannevar Bush, and this machine has vacuum tubes to switch electrical signals to perform calculations. And it could do 25 calculations in few minutes. The last machine that you see is a Mark I. So the next major changes in the history of the computer begins in 1937 when Howard Aiken planned to develop a machine that could perform calculations involving large numbers. So in year 1944, Mark I computer was built as a partnership between IBM and Harvard, and it was the first programmable digital computer. So that's all about the history of the computer. Thank you.